Okay. I wasn't going to stop at the thrift store. How many epic thrift store stories start with those words? My cute wife is coming downstairs to greet me.
Are you on the phone? Oh, are you recording?
I am.
Sorry.
No, what's up? Okay. I'm sure you're all looking at the thumbnail and you're like, dude, just cut to the chase. What's the record? Let's go. We got to watch the video first. Now, this video, I'm going to just give a little bit of a disclaimer. I did not do this like normal because I wasn't planning on looking at any records at the thrift store because I've been going to the thrift store pretty much every day on my way to the post office or running errands. And I have not seen any new records in a long time. I've picked up some good CDs, different stuff like that, but no good records. And then I go over by the record section because I always make a point to check before I check out, just double check if there's anything new. And I see a box of 45s and there's a bunch of 45s in a bag. So it's all discombobulated and I have to kind of have two hands in the mix to be able to look through them all. So I didn't have my phone out to film them. Here's the other thing. I never find anything good in the 45s. Nothing worth even really buying, because these at this thrift store, the 45s are just as much as a full-length album. They're $2 a piece. And as I'm going through, I see a Kiss 45, Detroit Rock City. I see Alice Cooper. Some decent stuff that if it was like 50 cents, I would buy it. I'd probably put it in my buddy's shop for $3 to $5 depending on condition. I know for some of you that's crazy for a 45, but some of these from the big sought after bands like a Led Zeppelin or a Pink Floyd, and I know some of those can be really valuable, but the run-of-the-mill ones that they made millions of copies of, $5 isn't crazy for a Led Zeppelin, The Doors, Pink Floyd 45. So I set aside some decent ones, but then I'm looking at condition. They're all like VG minus, not that great. And at $2 a piece, I'm like, this is just not good. So then I see one with a yellow label, and I'm like, oh, this one's interesting. These indie labels that aren't immediately recognizable. And I always try to look those up. Some of the smaller independent labels, and then some of these labels I've never even heard of. So then I get my camera out and I start filming what I picked out of the box. And you can see all that in this flip through video. So watch the flip through and I'll come back and tell you all about this incredible record I found. I do wish that I could have showed you guys going through this entire box, but this is the result of sorting through every single record in here. Rolling Stones, Johnny Cash, these were all the records that were worth looking up or even considering buying. This is Hotel California, iconic song. You got Kiss with Detroit Rock City, conditions not the greatest, probably VG minus, G plus. Alice Cooper, I think these would sell in my buddy Josh's shop, and normally I would grab these. The most I would pay for them is $1 each, but ideally about 50 cents. Some of them I would keep. The Queen one I would probably have kept, but the condition just wasn't good. You can see all the records there, all these sleeves. Now, the sleeves are a good opportunity to grab some if you're missing 45 sleeves that are original. But this is it. Renee Records, Rock and Roll Fever, The Rogues on side 2, and then on the A side, Coming Home by The Rogues. Unbelievable find. All right, so when you're watching the flip through, you can see the record without a cover sitting on the shelf. I put it there, okay? And I had already ascertained its value, but I didn't have a sleeve for it, so I had to find one. And it seemed like the safest place to put it. In the meantime, there wasn't any dirt or dust or like grit or anything on there. So I felt okay about putting it on there. And I wanted to show you the other records. I ended up not buying any of those. I just can't at $2 a piece. And the condition. If they were minty fresh, that's a different story, but they weren't. But this record, I scrolled down on Discogs and I couldn't believe it. The median value was $225 with the top value at $500, which means for a record this old without a picture sleeve, obviously if it had the original sleeve that it came with, that would be really cool. Maybe it would help get it that $500, but that it's in top condition record that went for 500. Maybe there was something going on during that year. It was 2023 where 2 copies sold for $500. Maybe there was something going on YouTube or an article in a record, enthusiast thing online, whatever, that drew some attention to this artist, this band. But the latest one sold for $225. I think there is one for sale for like £225, maybe, if I remember correctly. But this is from, I want to say, Rene Records. This is Rock and Roll Fever on side 2 by the Rogues and Coming Home by the Rogues on the A side. This record... And this is a sleeve that I just found there, a generic sleeve that was in with all the other records. But this record is in incredible condition. Most 45s that I find are pretty trashed. This one, I would say, is near mint minus, as my plastic thing falls down, near mint minus to VG plus. And I'm going to fix that real quick. So yeah, near mint minus to VG plus. I did clean it. And there's some, surface scuffs and very minor little hairline scratches. Maybe someone would really, if they were listing this and really wanted someone to not be nitpicky about condition, they might put it at VG plus. I know some people say EX, that kind of thing. But this is up there in quality. It's not mint condition. But it is really nice. Now, it probably could use an ultrasonic cleaning. I think there is some dust in the grooves even after cleaning it. I did play it, and it has some surface noise, but nothing I think that's egregious. And maybe after the needle cleared out a little bit of dust in playing it, maybe it's a little bit better a second time through. This is a really good little record. The music, Rock and Roll Fever, very catchy. I'm really surprised at the quality, the vocals, everything's really good about it. And with it being this little independent band that was produced at Rene Sound Studio out of David City, Nebraska, of all places. I'm in Council Bluffs, Iowa, so Nebraska is just a few miles to my west. This is something really special. This is the most valuable record I've ever picked. The most valuable record I picked before this is a whole story, and I still have to make a video about it, but it was a $300 record that I gave away to someone at the thrift store. I don't know what I was thinking, but again, there's a whole story to that I'll tell in another video. So get subscribed if you're not subscribed, because that story will be coming sometime soon when I work up the courage to tell it and how stupid I am for letting it go. Other than that, most of the records that I found, $100, $150, probably the highest, maybe $150. I have Velvet Underground, an original mono with the unaltered back. I bought that for $50 and it's probably worth, well over $200. So I've had some really, really good records that I have been able to get out there at a great deal, but this is by far the best. So what did I do with it after I picked it? First thought I had was I'm going to take it to Homer's and visit with Mark and see what he thinks. So I walked in there with just this record and dropped it on his desk. And he took a look at it and was like, yep, that's a good one. Now, I was going in thinking that Homer's would want to buy it, that Mark might want to take it. And if he sort of thought that he could get maybe $250, $300 for it, that they might pay me, $100, $125, $150, something in that ballpark. And I was, in the moment, really open to taking that. I just paid $2 for it. It's a quick flip. It's off my to-do list. And then, I really started to think that maybe it's something I should hold on to and see if anybody here on the channel is interested in buying it. And if nobody here or somebody who's, watching it is interested in purchasing it from me, we could be talking about listing it on Discogs. So Mark told me that he had someone that he wanted to contact because he figured they would be very interested in the record. So he didn't tell me who that was, and he didn't tell me that he needed a cut of it. He's like, I will just get you in touch with this person if they confirm to me that they're interested in it, and you guys can work out a deal to sell it. He asked me how much I'd want for it, and I said, well, my first thought was because it's to you, Mark, and I always expect about 40% of value when I bring in used records. Something in the $100 range, is what I'd expect from you. So take with that what you want to this person who is interested. Just make sure that you don't actually sell it to them, because I may change my mind or want to hold on to it, whatever the deal is. So I went back in and he told me that if I wanted to sell it, the $100 is mine. I could set it up with this person and they would buy the record. But there's something that was nagging at me a little bit about that, where I'm like, I don't know, I feel like I should hang on to this. This is sort of one of those once in a lifetime super special records. You don't often find a record that sold twice 2 years ago for $500. And while, I like the music, the songs are great, it's not something that is very coveted by me. Again, I'm into 80s and 90s. I'm into jazz, of course, and a few other artists in between that I'm really interested in. This is not something that's at the top of my list of what I'd want to keep, but knowing it's valuable and that it could likely go up in value certainly is incentive to consider keeping it at least for a little while. But I do want to say that it is available to anyone who is watching. Of course, I'd love to get top dollar for it. $500 would be incredible. And there's some thought that maybe if I listed on Discogs, I could get $500 for it or something close to that, especially given the condition that it's in. So I don't know. I'd love to know what you all think down in the comments. If you know someone who has been looking for this record and wants to get a copy, please let me know. I'll put an email address that you can use down in the description, or you can comment with a way to get in touch with you in the comments. Just make sure you don't put your personal email address in there, because we don't want that to be out there in the world. Maybe it's through Instagram or something else, whatever you feel like. But yeah, it's not often that you go to the thrift store and find a record worth $500. This thrift store has been really good to me with the records that have been out there. I just recently listed the Ludwig drum set, the Club Date drum set from 1965 with the Pioneer 1963 snare drum on Facebook Marketplace for $1,950. Don't know that I will get that locally here in Omaha. I haven't gotten any kind of bite or nibble from anybody on Facebook Marketplace about the drum set. If any of you are interested in this, and maybe you're in the area, Kansas City, Minneapolis, somewhere, Lincoln, Nebraska, somewhere nearby, and a Club Date drum set is of interest to you, certainly reach out to me and let me know. I'm open to working on a deal to get that drum set into the hands of someone, a collector or a drummer who would really love it. So yeah, Coming Home, The Rogues, and Rock and Roll Fever by The Rogues. Really cool record. Picked it up at a thrift store. I wasn't even intending to stop. I never look through 45s because it always seems pointless and the records are trashed. But this time it ended up being worth it. So I appreciate you all for being here. If you like stories like this, seeing flip through videos, talking about records, consider subscribing to the channel. Would love to have you as part of this, letting me know in the comments stuff I missed, stuff I should get, whatever conversation might arise from the records that I'm grabbing out in the world. But thanks for being a part of the channel and watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.